Welcome back. In this video, we'll be creating the exhaust manifold from scratch in CATIA. An exhaust manifold is a crucial component that collects exhaust gases from multiple cylinders and directs them into a single outlet. We will go step by step through sketching, sweeping, and finally completing the design. So let's jump directly into it. Open the part design workbench and start creating in the front plane. First, we'll be creating runners. We'll start by creating the profile for rib feature. Invoke circle and vertically from origin, draw a circle of diameter 20. Then let's give distance of 80 from origin. Then let's create a reference point to define the starting point of our center line and then proceed with drawing it from that point. Invoke the point and in point type, select circle, sphere or ellipse and select the circle and create point. Yes, now let's start from here. Invoke line and starting this point and support, select the front plane. Reverse the direction. The line should be directed backwards and the distance is 30. Okay. Next we'll be creating a reference plane. Invoke reference plane. Select this line as rotational axis and select the right plane. Let's create a angled plane of angle minus 33 degree. Okay. Now invoke line tool. Select the end of the line and select this newly created plane as support. Then distance let's give as 60 mm. Okay. Now let's create a reference plane at an angle. Select the line as rotational axis and select the front plane. Then angle 40 degree. Okay. Now we have created a reference plane. Now select the line. Select the end of the previously created line and select the newly created plane as support and select up to 2 as front plane. Okay, now till front plane the line will be extended. Okay, now again let's continue creating the line. Select the end of the last line and support, select the top plane and up to select the top plane. Yes, now our center line is almost ready. Now let's switch to generative shape design. Here we can give corner to the sharp edge. Invoke corner, select these two lines and give fillet of radius 20. Make sure to select the trim elements option and let's change to 21. Okay. Now again let's continue giving fillet to these two lines, radius 21. Okay, and here also let's give radius 21. Okay, now our center line is ready. Now we can give rib definition down. Now we can give rib feature. For that let's switch to part, invoke rib, select this profile and center line, select the center curve. Okay, yes, so the first runner is ready. Now for the second runner, let's create the center curve. Now for second profile, we have to create the same way. Invoke the line tool and from previously created point, let's start creating the line. Direction, select the front plane and distance is 30. And again from the end of the line, select the point and give direction top plane, reverse the direction, and here we have to give distance of, let's take front plane. Okay, now the end distance 45. Yes, now let's create the angle plane. Select the line as rotational line and select the right plane. Okay, then give an angle of 40. Yes, now we will take the newly created plane as the reference support. Now select the end of the line and select the newly created plane as direction, and length of the line, let's give as 45. Now again let's continue creating the line. Invoke line and select the end of the line. Select the right plane as direction. Okay. Distance is 45. Now again let's continue creating. Make sure you don't miss any step. Invoke line. Select the end of the line as point and select the front plane. Yes. Select up to 2 option and select again the front plane. Yes, now the line will be extended till front plane. Let's continue creating the line. Invoke the line if it is not invoked. While activating it, if you double click on any tool, you can continue creating the tool without invoking again and again. Here I have double clicked the line tool when I was invoking. That's why I can continue creating the line. Now let's continue again. Select the top plane as direction and up to, again select the top plane. Okay. Now our center line is almost ready. Now let's shift to generative shape design workbench to create the corner. Invoke corner. Create the fillet of radius 21. Here also 21. Make sure in the corner definition trim element is selected. Okay, and here 21, and to this also let's give the radius 18, and to this we can give radius 21. Okay, now our path is ready. For the profile, we will be having same profile as the. Now let's switch to path design workbench. Select this front face as sketching plane. We are going to project this circular edge. Select the edge and project the edge. Now we can sweep it. Invoke wrap feature and select this circular profile and select the center curve. Yes, now our half of the exhaust is ready. This is the design before giving the shell feature. Okay, now we have to mirror the runners. Invoke mirror feature and select both elements, and mirror element, let's select right plane. Okay, you can see our exhaust is taking the shape. Yes, now we have to give fillet. Before giving shell, let's give fillet so that we can avoid the more sharp corners inside. invoke fillet and select the center edge. Here, let's give fillet of radius 5. Okay, yes. Now again, invoke fillet and now select this edge and to this side also this edge. Okay, and here also let's give fillet of radius 5. Yes. Now our exhaust is ready to shell. Invoke shell feature. Select all the 5 faces to remove. Select these ends. Okay. In inner thickness give 0, outer thickness 2. Now we have shelled our exhaust to outside. Yes. We can see that our exhaust manifold is getting shape. Now we have completed creating all the runners. Now let's create the flange. Cylinder head mounting flange. Select the bottom face as sketching plane. Change the orientation and bring to the correct orientation. Okay. Then invoke center rectangle and from origin as center draw a rectangle. Now let's give dimension. Here the length is 212 and the width is 30. Okay. Now let's give corners. Invoke corner. And here let's give radius. Double click on the radius and change the radius to 50. Okay. And here also same radius. Yes. Now here let's give small radius. Double click to change the radius. And here let's give radius of 8. Okay, now let's project these circles. Invoke project tool and select all the inner circular edge. Okay. Now we can give pad. Let's extrude it to distance of, let's give 4 length. Okay. Now our flange is ready. Now we have to give outlet flange. Select this face as sketching plane and invoke circle and draw a circle. Then horizontally from center of the circle, draw another circle. Then concentrically, again draw a circle. Yes. Now invoke line tool and let's give it tangent lines. Now constraint, select both the circles and give concentric constraint. Here the distance, let's give as 26 and diameter of circle 32 and this diameter 15 and inner diameter 6. Okay. Now let's trim the unwanted entities. Now we can give tangent constraint. Select tangency. Okay. Select the arc and line. Again invoke and give tangency. Here also invoke the constraint and tangency. To here, invoke constraint and tangency. Okay. Yes, now let's give center line and mirror this side. All the sketches, let's mirror to the opposite side and and let's trim this arc. Okay. Now we can project the inner circular edge. Yes, finally exit the sketcher and give pad of distance 4. Yes, so finally our exhaust manifold is complete, and this is the final result. Now if you want, you can give material, invoke apply material. You can apply material, just drag and drop and apply material. Or if you want to give color, you can simply drag and drop. Then to see the applied material, you have to change the visibility mode to shading with material. Now you can see. Yes. So we have successfully created the exhaust manifold model from scratch in CATIA. You can see how the rib profiles and connecting parts come together to form the complete structure. This model represents how exhaust gases from different cylinders are directed into a single outlet. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. If you did, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more CATIA design tutorials and other CAD tutorials. Thank you.